I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Opening government seems forgot about the context in democratic country, in developing country, exclusively like Indonesia, that this society itself not fully can understand this kind of test because they're mostly like uneducated society, right? Or it is worse in developed country like US because they lack of mechanism in OG who will make the test, the Republican or the Democrat itself, Mr. Madam Chair, because there is chance to be biased also, right? Or even it's just question of party in the test and so on. We think they already familiar with it in the progressive society like in US and so on. Thus, their mechanism is not that exclusive. As opening opposition, we think we should seeing in the macro aspect how the impact if we are doing political general knowledge test in order to vote, because there's a lot of society being sacrificed, means under their second house that lose their right to vote. This is so bad impact because the idea of participation important for democracy, right, resulting to the lack of participation under the set of the house. So the urgency is not that significant to having this test, and it is not worth with the sacrifice itself, Mr. Madam Chair, in the very first place. Our stance is so clear as opening opposition. In order to uphold the essence of democracy, we stick on the status quo where there is no test requirement for voting, Mr. Madam Chair. I have two issues and all my rebuttals will be intertwined in it, right? Why it is unjustified to take the right of society? They say if we do not apply their proposal, it will resulting to the weak complicit with the wrong candidate we have in the status quo. Thus, they say it is okay to take the right. Our response to this statement, first, it is no. It is not that simple. It is not that simple because we have this kind of test. Thus, it is justified to take this marginalized society right, Mr. Madam Chair. Because when we choose the wrong candidate in status quo, it's not because our vote merely. It is so abstract and cannot be measured simply because as average society, we choose someone who competent in the very first place, right? Means in the very first place, we do not know this kind of candidate will be bad candidate will be bad leaders in the future, right? And what is the wrong candidate itself? Because Jokowi seems prominent in first, but then when he already in position, there's a lot of flaws he made, Mr. Madam Chair, in the policy like RUPKS, policy for labors and so on, right? Means the idea of political candidate is so unpredictable, Mr. Madam Chair. Thus, this kind of test to take the right of society is not worth with the sacrifice itself, Mr. Madam Chair, the participation. And also, if under the side of the house, okay, their base case is resulting to good candidate, they still have chances to be wrong again in the future, Mr. Madam Chair. So it is unjustified to harm this kind of marginalized society and also the minority, Mr. Madam Chair. The likelihood why marginalized society will lose their right and so bad because the likelihood is like this. They spend time is so little, right? How they can study for 5 months, just like in the mechanism, Mr. Madam Chair. For example, they are farmer, thus they will search money for their family, for example, not just like learning about this kind of election, right? Meaning, the idea of democracy, the idea of democracy itself, Mr. Madam Chair, not only knowledge, Mr. Madam Chair, but also the suffering of this kind of marginalized society that we should gather, Mr. Madam Chair, as a state, as a government, Mr. Madam Chair, and we will lose that kind of chance, Mr. Madam Chair, that kind of ideas because because this kind of poor people like farmers and so on lose their right to vote, Mr. Madam Chair. Comparatively, under the result of the house, only wealthy people again, Mr. Madam Chair, that can voting, Mr. Madam Chair, because they are educated one, they can study, they can pass the test, right? Under the result of the house, this kind of marginalized society cannot, Mr. Madam Chair, because they are the uneducated one and they are lose their chance to vote, right? They do not understand how this kind of test will be accessible toward this kind of poverty society, to this kind of marginalized society, and so on, right? Thus, they failed in that statement. Comparing under our set of the house, we stick in status quo, and why it is better to uphold the essence of democracy, Mr. Madam Chair. Because first, we still have this kind of check and balance, Mr. Madam Chair, on how you see in the democratic country itself. There's a lot of institution that will auditing you, like auditing the candidate itself, Mr. Madam Chair, like like KPK we have in Indonesia, Mr. Madam Chair, or another institution that will have this kind of check and balance toward this kind of candidate and also this kind of politician, Mr. Madam Chair, and also the society itself, they have this kind of platform in the social media also to send a critic, Mr. Madam Chair, and also this kind of official account of the state already like a Kemenku RI and so on, they already like being being responsive, ladies and gentlemen, towards the critic of the society that this society made, right? So under our side of the house, secondly, the benefit itself, why we under our side of the house will uphold the essence of democracy, because we focus on the participation, Mr. Madam Chair. The voice of this kind of participation not be sacrificed, not be lost, just only because they not pass their test, Mr. Madam Chair. So we will resulting to better policies that not only knowledge, Mr. Madam Chair, but also the truly suffering, the root of problem of the society, of this kind of marginalized society, of this kind of society, we can have, Mr. Madam Chair, under opening opposition side of the house, Mr. Madam Chair. Thus, I already explained in my first substantive thesis, it is why it is unjustified to take the right of society and why it is better to stick in the status quo to uphold the essence of democracy itself. And second point, a second issue, why the democracy system will be better under our side of the house. They say they can solve the polarization. We say it is no, Mr. Madam Chair, they cannot, because polarization happen in the both side still, Mr. Madam Chair, because polarization happen structurally, Mr. Madam Chair, and it is hard to solve only because they do this kind of test and they can solve the polarization. It's not that simple, Mr. Madam Chair. Under our side of the house, it is better to listen this kind of polarization gradually, because under our side of the house still have this kind of institution and also the progressiveness of the society that will critique, Mr. Madam Chair, because they do not lose their participation in the past in the task itself, Mr. Madam Chair. The activist is still there, Mr. Madam Chair. The society itself still being educating in the status quo with our way to like having a socialization and so on, right? And second, with test means under their side of the house less participation, right? Means the one who got benefit only the wealthy people again, Mr. Madam Chair. Under their side of the house, it only creating the gap. So even if we take the long time and gradually to have good system, it is okay because we do not hurt the participation of society in the very first place, and we are resulting into the better policies that this kind of marginal society we still have in the end, Mr. Madam Chair. We oppose. Thank you.